Hello, and welcome to the Cedar River Snag-After Hours. I hope that's the name we decided on, Daphne. I really do. What we are is we are mundane background talk, and it is just improv off the hip. It's not as horrible as it actually sounds once we get going. But if you know, you know. Sometimes you just want to listen to something and go ahead and minimize that box. Stick me down in a corner. I don't care. There's absolutely nothing to see here. Thought about doing one of them static images and trying that, but I feel like, I don't know, that's more work. It's probably not. But anyway, we are mundane background noise. I kind of want to talk about travel anxiety. Like, I'm a horrible traveler. And this is number 3, right? Okay, so last one was supposed to be about us as children in the 80s. Home Alone and, homeless man that took over our clubhouse. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. But I'm a horrible traveler because, like, I used to go to like a 3-day trip, like in a corporate office, 100 miles away. I would pack a set of clothes for every day, like complete set of clothes, and dude, like a 30-pack of beer and 2 cartons of smokes and so much trail mix and beef jerky. I could have survived for like 3 weeks off this, and we didn't actually eat. The company took us out to eat, and the company paid for drinks, and like literally I'd leave with everything I took every time. But I was so like I had to be prepped for everything, like 2 Swiss Army knives in the backpack just in case type of deal. Like crazy, right? And oh, we'll get into that one next time. That's its own separate entity. My wife is an excellent traveler and I am not, so it just makes for great trips. Like, dude, they are horrible. But before we get going too much further, let me throw a disclaimer out there that if your little spawns of your seeds are running around on YouTube, this is not intended for child audiences or maybe adult language or something suggestive. But if you're letting them run free in the great land of YouTube, this is probably the absolute least of your concerns. They're going to hear way worse. This is mundane dad stories and talk, whatever. And I am your host, being you'll never see her, Daphne. You don't do anything on this, do you, really? You just sit there? Alright, cool. I feel like I recognize your voice or I recognize you or what. Yep, that is me. This is one of the several places I currently reside online. And actually, we're just starting this out. This is number 3. Can you believe this is the 3rd one? Wow. I can, because we just did number 2. That went so well, and I couldn't shut up. I'm like, hey, let's just go ahead and just roll into number 3. And congratulations, that's where we are. But to swing back on topic. So when I was a kid, we played in this huge scrapyard. And it was a junkyard. They had cars and trucks and vans and boats and dude, all the RVs and campers we used to break into and play. But then they had like rows of like lumber and like tin roofing and shingles and cinder blocks and dude, it was creepy because there was like stacks of like old dolls, just 8 foot high, 10 foot wide pile of dolls hanging out in the rain, all weathered, and there was like old china that most of it was busted, just sitting out on pallets outside, just axes and hammers and old boxes of old rusted nails and just it was a scrapyard. Anything they could have got that they might be able to resell, evidently they got onto it and sucked it in like hoarders, right? But as kids, this thing was a gold mine, and I think and I was about 8, maybe 9. I think I was older than 7. Anyway, I was in that, magical age of 2nd to 4th grade. And we decided we were going to build a clubhouse. So we had found this spot. There was a state park reservation, whatever, down the road from us. And it was pretty primitive campgrounds and a play area and you boat ramp and fishing area up over this bluff. And there was always this legend of this old forgotten like shelter abandoned out there. The teenagers used to go there 10-15 years ago, and it's abandoned, forgotten. Well, as kids, we went down and we found it, and it wasn't really that exciting. It was pretty much just a roof that would collapsed on a concrete slab and then rotted. Like, it wasn't really that exciting. There was one pole that used to have a light on it, but there was no like power running to it. But a little bit away from this, man, all to get there was a pain. It was all thickets and briars and thorns. And being kids, man, we literally had like machetes that were made out of lawnmower blades, with the other one side taped up and stuff like that. And we hacked our little pass through, and we got to where you could get back, to this like clearing we found. Pine trees had grown all the way like a circle around it, and it was like grassland. It was a pretty clear little spot, and it was way out there. And we literally stole cinder blocks and like shingles, and well, we didn't take the shingles. We used tin roofing and 2x4s and all kind. And we would haul this. First of all, we still didn't have to sneak it out a rabbit hole through the back fence of this damn scrapyard. Then we had to rig up wagons tied together to pull this stuff to take it out there far enough that we could ride on our bikes, and then get off and drag it. Like, kids would be carrying 2 cinder blocks each, crawling through these holes like army style. Anyway, we got all the stuff back in there, and we built a clubhouse. And I don't mean like a clubhouse, this is cute clubhouse. I mean, ours was mainly made out of cinder block that we put 2x4 posts in instead of rebar, and then filled with sand, so it was like reinforced. We had built in a fireplace that worked, and used a sheet of steel that you could pull in and out as the flue, so you could heat it up and then close it down. Like, literally, we had a dampener on the thing. And when we built it, we put some of the cinder blocks facing forward, so you could put canned food or whatever inside the holes if you had a fire. Yes, we had fires, like straight up fires inside this thing rolling, and you could cook your food or heat it up at least inside these little holes. And I mean, we had windows that we had fit in, and the ceiling was probably 5 foot high because we were little kids, you know what I mean? But this thing was probably 8x10. Well, no, what's the sheet of plywood? 8x4. So this thing would have been 16x8. It was a good size little bit, and we cut the grass down all the way around it. We had a fire ring outside, and some old chairs that we had brought, and literally had like a rake and an axe and stuff that we pilfered from the scrapyard all out there. And dude, I didn't realize it at the time, but 2 of the kids that we hung out with, holy cow, like, they had a rough life because we built this thing, and they would stay out there. Like, they'd have fires at night and like sit around the fire, and they would literally camp in this thing. And we had like literally, we had a trap door underneath the floor that you could get up into that had like this little safe thing, steel box in it, and that was our safe. And they were like saving up for like a new life, and there was probably like, we're getting close, there's like 65 cents and change in there. Yeah, there's a whole lot of other cool stuff in there, like an arrowhead, which I think was just a rock somebody had found. Oh God, what else was in there? A couple old Playboys, matches, all just random. I don't know what we kids stuff, dice, playing cards. I don't know, but we had that safe down in there. But them kids would literally stay out there, and then like you'd go out there and you'd be like, oh hey guys, and then I remember I took a can of beans out, and they saw that can of beans, and they were like, oh my God, those are pork and beans. They're like, can we cook those? Can we eat those? And I was like, yeah, have at them. And they literally started a little fire, freaking put the, like, they were like going down, like, man, these are beans. And I was like, yeah, because we'd all bring out different random canned food. Like, there was a pantry out there. Like, for some of us, it was more of a game, but for them, shoes, this was some serious shit. But, so we had good times in this thing. And it got cold, it got winter, and we quit going out there, and it had been a minute. Sorry, y'all, I went into low power mode. I tried to shoot these impromptu, but I guess we hit 20%. It's a good thing. So we all abandoned this thing, right? And we came back, and this was springtime. Stuff was coming back. We need to go check on that clubhouse. And there's about 12 of us that built this thing, right? So like 2 or 3 of us, we went out there and we went to check on it, and there was some dude living there. And looking back on it now, like to us, it was a scary homeless dude, like wanted to capture kids living out in the woods. Like we made him a villain. But where it was located at this park, it was public camping. It was probably some transient staying at cheap sites, wandering around, found this place, was like, whoa, I could sit here for free, and I set up camp here for a minute and then head on down the road or something. But anyway, we found him, and he was this scary, like, homeless dude taking over our clubhouse. That ain't gonna happen. So we went back and we told all the kids, like all the kids, and we went, dude, this is early 90s, late 80s, has to be. Anyway, we went, kid had nunchucks made out of broom handles with a dog chain. One kid like literally brought a baseball bat. Somebody brought a machete. Somebody brought a garden rake. Like, the kids loaded up. We were ready to throw down, and we loaded up all these freaking sacks full of rocks. And these were like rocks that we got by the railroad track, like the big pointy knobby ones under the thing. Like we went and picked up all these rocks. And we had a plan. We had a plan. We really did. And this is like Home Alone shit, straight up. But we went out there and we were like, okay, we want our clubhouse back. We were worried the guy broke in and stole our treasures. He has our 65 cents and our Playboys, and we were putting it, this is the last stand. This ain't gonna happen. And it all worked up. We go out there. A couple of us up there were like, you, get out of our clubhouse or whatever. And this guy looks over and he's trying to shoo us away. He's like, get out of here, kids, whatever. We're sitting there like, no, this is our clubhouse. Get out of here. And this guy's like, just get out of here, kids. And he started walking towards us, like shooing us away. And we're all like, oh, no. So we started throwing rocks at him. Like 4 or 5 kids just launching rocks at him, right? So he's getting hit, he's covering up, and then he just starts running at us, just charging at us, like just pissed off, right? What he didn't expect was there was 4 or 5 kids over here that popped up out of nowhere and all started whipping rocks at him too. So he's covering from this side, and we keep launching them from this side. And as he stopped, here's another 4 or 5 kids that pop up on your other side, and they all start whipping rocks. So we drove this dude literally back up by the clubhouse, like he was trying to get inside of it, and we were like running up on him, and we all just keep whipping rocks at this dude, and he's like down on the ground at this point, just covering up, screaming and everything else. And so we all stopped throwing rocks, and we're like, hold on, and this guy's like literally like probably freaked the fuck out, but he's down on the ground. He's like looking up, and he stands up and he looks at us. And I don't know which kid it was. It was not me. But one of the kids yelled, get him! And all of a sudden, like a dozen kids came popping out of the weeds and the fields and everything else, carrying baseball bats and machetes and clubs, sticks with nails in them, whatever the hell, nunchucks, whatever we could find. All running at this guy, screaming bloody murder, swinging blindly and violently at him. And the dude literally ran into the thickets. Like, where he was going was, I don't know where he went, but it was either a horrible journey straight through, whatever. He actually left a sleeping bag. I think he left a pack of cigarettes. He left a couple things. And we literally posted up there. Like 8 of us stayed there that night, and we would take shifts just in case he came back. And then during the day, and then we slowly, ward off. But good God, I would love to hear that dude's version of that story. Because as a kid, we defended our clubhouse. That poor dude was like, children of the corn attacked me in Iowa. I seen it. It happened. It came out of nowhere. Told me go away. Hit me with rocks. Trying to cut my nuts off. Oh, that poor guy. Yeah, them 80s and the early 90s, they were a different time. They had to remind our parents, you know where your children are? I remember being outside playing and I'd hear that commercial, and my parents would both look at the TV and be like, no, and we don't care. It's because we were fighting homeless people in the woods. Till next time, y'all.